to you all, and welcome to another episode of Seen and Heard.
Welcome. Today we have a listener that is watcher already, even before we started. Hasibul has said, hello, everyone, and
Hello,
really
Hasbul.
excited for this event. It's really nice to see that someone's waiting for us eagerly. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is there.
Yeah.
It would be cool to know where you're joining from. So please let us know where you're from. Darko, where are you today? You have a really lovely background there.
Uh, yeah, I'm by the seaside, and it's a really nice background. I'm waiting for the personnel with the leaf blowers to come. So let's say for now it's really peaceful and quiet.
Nice. We might see you moving around a bit. So
Yeah,
today, today we're enjoying the view, not just the conversation.
exactly.
Since the topic is networking, what do you think about slightly unusual places like the beach for business networking? Have you ever done that?
Business networking in the beach on the beach. Not really. I mean, you just meet people, and there might be a chance that you meet someone who could be either your potential business partner, business client, but I'd say it's a really low possibility. But that's not to say not to be nice to people and just let it be how it is. So go with the flow, and perhaps there will be some business. But I wouldn't say that you need to go attention intentionally. Okay, I go to the beach and I need to make a deal today for something.
Absolutely not.
Did you try it?
No,
Why that question? Did you try that?
because it occurred to me when it comes to international business, getting people to come to Croatia, telling them, "Ooh, we might have a drink somewhere near the beach, and I might give you a tour of some of the more beautiful sites." It's a quite an enticing way to get people to communicate with you. So
Mm,
this was
okay.
what I was thinking.
Oh,
Um,
so there is a potential business conversation from the start. So in advance, you know that you will be. Oh, okay. So just going to the beach is kind of a leisure activity.
yeah, not necessarily, swimming in bikinis, but perhaps having a
How do
dinner somewhere by the seaside.
how do you go to the beach? Do you go in a suit to the beach or
Yes,
what?
of course. Samuel is saying, "Good morning, streaming from the beach. That's cheeky." Yes, that's our
Yeah. Hi,
Darko.
Samuel.
He doesn't want us to get bored with his background, unlike me, who enjoys
Yeah.
this fairly boring.
If you want,
Um,
I can even give you a walking tour around the beach. So whatever you want to see, why not?
See, you're already networking.
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
didn't know you well, I would be super interested. I would be thinking, where should we have a photo shoot? So
yeah.
talking about your country, about the beauties around you is one of those topics that's fairly usual for small talk and connecting with people.
Talking
But
about problems in a country and just nagging how bad it is. Yeah, this is how it usually is in Croatia. So yeah,
complaining, we're already
complain.
at the complaining stage, which I don't know what your experience with that is, but it can be quite a bonding exercise because I think some problems are fairly universal, so people can connect with them.
Yeah, yeah. And then you start even trying to persuade the other person. Yeah, I have a bigger problems than you because here it's even worse. And yeah, it's competition from the start. So yeah, it's always fun with that.
Um, I know that there's something to be said about visual presence and networking, and this is, of course, your expertise. And I think today, with your introduction of the beach,
Yeah.
It's it's a
If
great
if you if you
segue.
if you come to the beach, you really need to be visually present. So either in swimming trunks or in bikinis. So you need to show your body and be visually present there. Yes.
Is
I
that your
don't know.
pro networking tip? What have I been doing this whole time?
Well, you need to blend in. I mean, how would you go to the beach otherwise? If you come fully dressed, you'd be, looked upon like some kind of a freak. So I don't think there is much networking there after it, at least until the police arrives, and then you will be networking with the police.
But you're very visible and noticeable if you're different.
Yes, you sure are. So that's why they call police.
People remember you.
They sure do. You might even get a photo on some local portal or Facebook group. Beware of this person. He's walking around the beaches praying for something. So
I don't
no,
know.
no. So the main point is you need to blend in and not just stand too much out, because even if it's, I would say, standing out in a good way, people might actually perceive it as you are too good for them and do not even go into conversation with you. So, yeah, it's good to stand out a little bit, but not too much.
Right, it can be quite intimidating if
So,
you
you
see
have on the
someone.
beach, you can have that pareo or something like that. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
We have a comment from the audience. Abigail is saying, I think you'd have a huge audience if Darko wears a bikini.
Oh,
And she added, very
okay.
memorable. So there's an idea, Darko. I think you haven't
There's
tried
an
that.
idea.
And I
Okay.
think you would be more than willing to, knowing
Uh,
you,
I'm not really sure where to find a bikini at the moment, but
next time.
maybe next time.
Right. So you were saying try to understand the culture of the event or the place where you're going to so that you're not overly different.
Yeah, uh, it's always good to be a bit, let's say, overdressed, but not too much. So you will feel better this way, and not stand out too much as like you think you're better than others if you're really uh, overly overdressed.
Okay. So you think people compare themselves to other people in these events a lot? Do you think that's what's happening in their
Uh,
heads?
well, I'd say that this comes subconsciously because these things happen all the time. We don't even notice it. There were from I can now what from what now comes to my mind. There was a study where you had on the intersection person crossing the street when the um, traffic light for the walkers, for the person who walks,
For
is red.
crossing the street, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, is red. And if the person was dressed well casually, not really many people just follow them. And if the person was in the suit, actually there was some, I don't know, a ridiculous amount, like 60 or 70% of people started following him, following the person, even if the light was red. So he was considered kind of an authority, even if you're wearing a suit. It doesn't mean you're authority on traffic, but we still do perceive it and subconsciously think this way.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think this can backfire as well if you're building your presence as someone very approachable, someone who's on the same level as you are, because people like to feel comfortable around others to start conversations.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. So you need to be also approachable. How do you handle this?
before we go there, Hasibul has told us that
before
he's
we go.
from Bangladesh. He answered our question. So before I forget, thank you very much. It's very cool to have somebody joining from there as well. Yeah, I'm part of that kind of industry where being approachable is very, very important. And my clients want to learn communication skills in English. So if I'm overly formal, if I'm like staying at the distance and somebody who is like observing and judging, perhaps that can also be an association, then it might be quite difficult for them to approach me and then later on develop a relationship where they would be comfortable making mistakes and testing things out with me. So definitely something that I have to think about.
Yeah, and you really showed now this unconscious visual cue just as you were talking. Like if I move away, I stand away from the car in the distance. You just did this, so this is also something that we subconsciously do, and the person that is leaning towards you is always kind of more friendly. So you need to think about this, just not lean away from them, because it just indicates for the other person, okay, this person doesn't want to talk with me, and they will not get into the conversation with you. So yeah,
Right.
these are the kind of small visual things that you can help that they can help you.
And when I think about that, I think about a lot of my students and myself as well at the start of my career. When there are events that you find a bit scary, it's something new, and you want to be somewhere where there's not a lot of people. Some of them had told me, I run to the bathroom and I try to spend some extra time there. So a lot of the time your fear and your anxiety can seem like you are distancing yourself from others because maybe you feel like you're better, too good to be involved, while the reality is you're just a bit scared and you don't know how to start.
Yes,
Have you had these situations and how did you
yes.
handle them?
Yes, of course. And this is why you need to consciously think about it. Because we do this because we are afraid of the crowd, we are afraid of where we are. But other side, other people perceive it as, oh, he thinks, she think that he's too good and distances himself because of this, and then you have completely other story in your mind. You're afraid, oh, there are so many people, I'm not used to this. And um, regarding the visual cues that other people see, they just think, okay, this person doesn't want to be with us, we just won't talk with them. So yeah.
Right. And
What was the question?
how do you handle that when you are the
Oh
person
yeah, yeah. So
who's
so
afraid?
you need to consciously think about it, and if you see the other person, just try to talk with them, because in most cases it's just the case that they are afraid, and they're not that they don't want to talk. They came to the event and they want to talk, but they are probably afraid, and that's why they're just moving away from the crowd and getting in the toilet all the time and whatever. Or if it's in my case, stuffing myself with food all the time, so just seeing what is on the buffet and what you can eat.
I knew we would get to the food. Food is comfort. I
You
think
announced
having
it. I'm not.
no, that would get there quickly. I knew you'd find a segue into it, like, whoo, whoo, there's food today.
You
But
did ask me about my experience, so I'm sorry. This is how it works for me. I
that's
don't
true.
go to the toilet. What will I do there?
I think that there are several advantages to having food at an event, and that's you can hold something in your hands, so you're not
Yeah,
awkward.
like
With like,
plates and glasses. Yeah, sure.
yes,
We all feel a bit more secure if we have something in front of us. So be it the glass or the plate. So yeah, This also gives us a bit of extra security, but we also need to consciously think, okay, this creates a barrier between the other person and me, and they think I'm engaged in eating that much that don't want to talk during that time.
Do you have any tips regarding that? Should we
What?
always keep one
Taking which
hand?
food or what?
No, no, no. We'll get to that. I mean, since
Choice
food
of
can be
food,
a
okay.
connector and a barrier, how do you
Yeah,
handle this?
yeah, regarding this, there are always people who like food, and you connect there where on the place on the buffet where there is some food, and you just talk. Oh, this is good. This is not good. You should try this. So this is a good conversation start.
Yeah, it's a great one because it's easy. It doesn't intimidate anyone, and everyone has an opinion on
Yeah,
these things, so they will not be
yeah.
stumped about what to
Uh,
say.
you should consider that some people do not eat some kind of food like meat or something, so you shouldn't get into too much heated arguments regarding this. But yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
conversation starter.
It's definitely not an opportunity to start arguments about things, but just to show a bit of
Mm,
curiosity, I suppose, and that's it.
yeah, exactly.
Um, in my experience, I think that if you're observant and if you get out of your head and think, okay, there's a lot of people here who might be thinking the same thing as I am, I think
Hmm.
you can use that to your advantage. And you can approach those people that do look a bit nervous or might be running to the bathroom and actually be honest
Follow
with
them
them.
to the bathroom, right? That is a great
Not,
idea.
not follow them around. But, you can start little chats that way. I don't know if that's a gendered thing as well. But, if
Okay,
somebody's fixing.
could you explain me how do you start a chat with someone who's going to the bathroom?
You're both waiting in line, for instance. That could be one situation.
Oh,
And you
it's
go,
so crowded there. Okay,
who
I'm
knows?
missing something when I'm not going to the bathroom all the time.
Again, as I said, it can be a gendered thing because we also go to the bathroom to fix our makeup, for example. So that's a bit less of an intimate situation. So you can start a little conversation and say, "Oof, it's quite nerve-wracking here. I see some really big faces. Do you have somebody that you really want to talk to here? Things like that. Little
Mm,
things that I think a lot of people can relate to. So I think even that can be a way to start a conversation. As I said, waiting in line, for me, that's quite a natural, maybe because of our cultural background. We like to complain about lines and we like to use those moments to be a bit less awkward and say something like, oh, I didn't expect so many people waiting. And then, that can lead
hmm.
to talking
Okay,
about the attendance, about the popularity of the event, why you're there, and so forth.
okay, okay.
You've never
Uh,
done that. There's no bonding in the male aisle.
no, I'm not sure if it's a cultural thing, but no, I haven't really seen it because you just go to the bathroom, you do what you're going there for, and that's it. You don't talk with anybody. Okay, how is doing? No, no.
We
How do
even
you do it when you have some when there is an international event or it's an event where mostly English is spoken and you're not that good with English, let's say it that way.
That's a frequent one with my students, obviously. The first thing is showing up. I think when people start showing up to these events and showing that they're ready, I
In
think that's a
bathroom
huge
line.
step. In the bathroom line, why not? And I think starting with very simple conversations and simple questions is always the way to go, because then you can relax into the conversation and realize gradually, hopefully, that what your colleagues or teachers have been saying, that nobody really cares and everyone's scared and everyone's going to respond to you, no one's going to criticize what you're saying. It becomes clear through action. Obviously, there's no easier way but to start some conversations. And we've already mentioned a couple of topics that could be safe and easy. Do you have any other, like, go-tos where you think, okay, if I start talking about I don't know, castles around my town, people are going to engage. What do you use as conversation starters?
Food.
Food,
Uh, uh,
always food.
well, well, food is universal. I don't know who doesn't like food. So, yeah, you can talk about differences in other cultures. You can talk about what you like, and it's really to explain. Okay, this is good. This is sweet. This is sour. Uh, about the castle, I don't know where to start. Oh, it's a big castle, and I don't know what to say.
That makes sense. So food, number one.
Yeah. And in the
Uh,
bathroom line, I don't really know what I should start with. You're waiting here for something also. Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm hungry, by the way. Would you like to talk about food?
Might not be
um,
that much appropriate, but yeah.
maybe, maybe. Natasha is saying, I support that advice. I regularly do it when I come alone to an event where I don't know anyone.
Yeah,
And I believe that men don't do that because your restrooms lack discretion and are too intimate. There's that. There's
yeah,
the physical space inviting you or not into these kinds of conversations for sure.
yeah, exactly. And we have a person with a leaf blower, so I'm getting away from here because it's starting to be probably too. Where am I? Oh,
Okay. We can hear some background noise, but it's not too bad to be fair.
yeah, okay. But he's coming closer, so yeah.
So we've
I'll be
mentioned
walking
food.
around.
I think one important thing when it comes to international events and food is doing a bit of research and a bit of testing and tasting while you're there to prepare yourself, because the people from the country will love hearing about what you liked and what you tried, especially if it's something that's really local. And the people who are also international like you will find it interesting, and they will get tips, and everyone wants to know what they should try or where they should go outside of
Hmm.
the event.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. But uh, you should also, I would say, need to prepare for it, at least to have a couple of words ready in explaining what you, uh, uh, in the international sense,
Hmm.
what you like, what you don't like, so to even start a conversation. And I guess you, as a teacher, do prepare for such small talk, your
Oh,
students.
for sure.
No.
Small talk is always part of the lessons because it's such a big and important part of life to begin with. And one of the most frequent things I hear from people is that they hate small talk. People have a very negative association to it, even though they are absolutely doing it already,
Hmm.
and they can be really good at it. But it can be scary to break the ice. So we need to, as teachers, break the ice consistently and then tell them, you've done well. Did you even notice that we were talking for 15 minutes about your cat? You seem to be relaxed. There are other people with cats that you can talk to. So
Oh,
that's another one, actually, pets.
yeah, pets. Why not? Yeah, and this is also an interesting conversation topic. So it's at least here in Croatia, complaining number one. Then toilet whispering. I don't know how to explain it. I don't even want to know what you talk about in the toilet. Then food and pets. So why not? So it's we have a list of already four topics. I don't know if someone from the crowd listening to us and seeing and watching us could add some additional topics. It would be
Yeah,
interesting.
please write your go-tos in the comments. There are plenty. There really are. And some really strange and specific interests can even be like really good conversation starters if you know the person shares them.
Yes.
One very typical one is the weather, obviously, which I just thought of looking at your background, which looks really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah. We don't use that much in Croatia because it's always good weather. So What's
Well,
there to talk about? There's
when we
nothing to
travel, we
complain
do
about. Oh yeah,
because we
the
complain.
weather is so bad here.
Exactly, right? Oh, I just came from sunny Croatia. You poor people.
Yeah, but we've gotten there, so not to being too over other people, so not to try to be too arrogant. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
it visually, but also talking about something like, yeah,
Yeah. From
my
my
country is much
experience,
better than yours.
yeah, from my experience is the other people when you tell them where you come from that start the weather conversation because they associate sun and the beach with Croatia. So
Mm,
that's definitely been other people's way of approaching me many, many times. It's one of
yeah.
those safe topics, and people think about the vacations they've had in Croatia and they talk about their experiences there. That's a very frequent one.
Hmm.
So, travel is another one. If you know something about the country of the person who you're talking to, that's a great start, especially if you've been there, if you're planning on being there, or if you know something interesting about it from whatever source, maybe a movie. It can be anything, really.
Yeah, yeah. So whatever it is, yeah, why not?
Abigail has a nice idea. If you wear an unusual brooch, necklace, tie, hat, etc., that can prompt conversation. It's a good way to start.
Hmm.
Okay, so a piece of clothing, for instance, could be a conversation starter. Has that ever happened to you?
No, I dress boring mostly, so no.
Yeah,
No, nobody approached me. Oh, look how boring your clothes looks like. No.
I'm not
Did
very
you have
extravagant with
such a
my choices. No, no, not
no?
really. But
No.
maybe I should start
Yeah.
something small that I can talk about.
Why not?
Oh, look at that black shirt. You you clearly have a classic taste.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it could be a conversation starter for you as a photographer in some situations because clothing is quite important as a choice, isn't it?
Yeah, for photographers, of course, because we mostly wear black. And but regarding our clients, yeah, to it's always interesting as a male and not that much in a fashion to give fashion advice to other people. But yeah, it's just connected to the photograph part. So how to look better on photographs. But I don't know how I would approach it. Perhaps, oh yeah, this would look great on a photograph. Yeah, good pass.
Yeah, why not? But
Yeah,
also, again, addressing people's fears and vulnerabilities, perhaps, again, sometimes a small compliment or a question can be the way to go, but it's something to be very careful with in different cultures and contexts.
yeah, yeah.
For
No,
us, for instance, if you know the person um, considered their choices, somebody maybe that you expect at the conference and they didn't know what to wear, and then you see them, it's a good practice to tell them you did well. Your choice is good. Don't worry about it. So just to support each other a bit.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, and not to be
Uh,
negative.
yeah, yeah, obviously. Natasha is saying one of the more common small talk topics that really breaks the ice is talking about the conference panelists, positive gossip, discussing the words we've heard.
Mm,
Absolutely. Sticking to the topic of the conference, especially if that's something connected to your business, so that you can add a piece of advice and show value immediately in that business sense. It's another level, I would say, of small talk. What's your experience with that?
well, yeah, but you don't have that much chance to talk on conferences, and that's why I basically don't go that much there because there is uh, one speaker, then maybe there is 5 minutes chance to go to grab something to eat, and then there is again another speaker for half an hour, an hour. So you don't have that much time for talking to other people. So yeah, conference is a bit too too busy for it. I don't know.
Right, too structured, too formal. It depends.
Yeah,
Obviously, there are conferences the last several days, and you have a lot of networking opportunities and such. So it
yeah,
depends. But you're right. You need to be very mindful then, and perhaps even think in advance, who do I want to talk to? Because you might not have another opportunity in a long time.
yeah. Follow them in the bathroom.
Yes.
You know that they're alone then, and that they have some time because they stand in line. Wow.
Abigail is saying language of jewelry. And now that you said that, I'm pretty sure I've seen that kind of move in some business related movies, like, the sharks going after their
Oh.
potential clients. Elevator pitches are called elevator pitches for a reason. So following people around when they're vulnerable is actually might be a bit of a manipulative move, but it's certainly something that people do actually do. So
Yeah, it could be so. It could be. Yeah, but okay. So heading after some people when you see they're alone and they're not busy with talking with others is okay in the offline world. But how would you do it in online? Because if you have online conference, well, there is not that much opportunity to talk to others.
um, actually, quite a lot of them, the events will have the chat section.
Hmm.
So what you can do is actually use the chat to start some conversations. It depends on how many people are there, obviously, because sometimes, yeah, it can be overwhelming, like 400 people typing about where they're coming from. It's hard to catch. But if you have the opportunity to develop a conversation, you can add these people later on to LinkedIn, for example, because we're talking about business, and
Hmm.
then say something like, "Oh, I noticed you there. We obviously have the same interest. What was your favorite thing about this event? I really liked this and that." It's quite a natural way to start conversations, and a way to connect with people who are like-minded. I know that one thing that's made people stand out for me and made me want to connect with them immediately is when they ask really clever questions, because you go, "Oh, okay, this person really has an interesting way of thinking about things. So I want to see why they asked it, and I want to learn something from them." So that would be the equivalent for me. And I would say it's something that I've done more than in person
Hmm.
networking. So it comes quite naturally to me.
It's less scarier, and you can be dressed any way you want to be in an online event.
Yes, for sure. Natasha is back to the restroom, and I know why, because we've had conversations about this. She's saying,
Inspired
while,
by our podcast. Why?
yes, of course, while waiting in line for the restroom, it's a good opportunity for a bit of gossip. And I think I like that keyword as well, because, we associate very negative things with gossip, but gossip is actually a very natural way to communicate between people. It happens a lot, and it can be a great conversation starter as long as it's appropriate. And there's a balance there to be had, I believe. Do you engage some friendly gossip, Darko, or not?
I'm just thinking, is there any appropriate gossip?
Yeah, I think
In
so.
which
Like,
way?
um, things like talking about the organization of the event, for instance, or
Yeah, how
about the
bad it
catering.
is. If it's
Yeah,
gossip, it's
it's
about how bad it is.
it's again that a bit of complaining, but it doesn't have to be bad. Actually, gossip can be like talking in excitement about something that's being announced, and like, "Oh, I heard that they're like the secret guest they're bringing is probably XYZ. Ooh, I would rather have this person, or I'm really excited about it." So it doesn't have to be negative. Actually, it can be something positive where you are just guessing or trying to figure things out.
Hmm, okay. I associate it always with something negative, talking about other people. So, I don't know.
It can absolutely be both. Yeah, because you're sharing your experience with other people. So it can be something like I actually got to talk with like the main panelists, and I really thought that they were super formable. Actually, they're a really chill person, so I would recommend talking with them. So that's also gossip, and it's very positive. And I would definitely suggest going in that direction. But again, think about the cultural context. We
Mhm.
Croats do like to complain, so a bit of complaining that's moderate.
That's needed.
It can actually lead to connections. So
Yeah,
it's
complaining connects people.
complaining connects people. It does if it doesn't portray you as a very negative person. So it's something to be very careful about.
Mm, yeah,
Weather is a great
it
one
could
to
be.
complain about. Definitely, that's like the easiest
Yeah,
level if you need
whatever you
practice.
want to complain about. Okay, but still, one thing comes to my mind when we were talking about offline and online. Basically, online, if you use chat for connecting to other people, you have a chance to um, check on your grammar before you put something in the chat box, and that way you don't have that much fear of talking to other people. What would you say about this? Did you have any experience with your students that they like to use the online tools more than in person because they are afraid to talk?
For sure they do. I think you need to maintain a balance there as well, because if you're constantly double guessing yourself, it means that you're spending a lot of time on that instead of actually connecting. So it means that you're probably more focused on yourself than the other person. Now, I completely understand it, and especially if you want to impress someone, putting a bit of polish on it is fine. But you need to consider that if you want to meet that person in person at some point, or online, doesn't matter, but that you will actually be communicating with them
Hmm.
differently, that these two personalities match, right? Everyone expects a bit more accuracy when you are typing. So it's not exactly, shocking. But if there's a huge difference between the way you speak and the way you write, then it might be a bit jarring. Like, oh, this is not the person I talk to. So being yourself imperfectly, even in written form, can help connect.
Yeah, but I would say this is more of a generational thing. Because if you see the way, um, I don't know what generation is now among
Alpha,
the
Z.
young, I don't know these, it's always with these letters and the numbers I'm confused. So they do use much more abbreviations, buzzwords, so you wouldn't say that really they're that perfect with the grammar or anything.
Oh, for sure. There are generational differences in the way we
So I
talk.
wouldn't say it's really expected.
Not in certain industries and with certain generations for sure, but it all depends on the context. I really wouldn't generalize there because
Hmm.
I think that one very important tip there is to see what the other person is doing and try to figure out what they're trying to say with their example, right? Because they're not directly telling you um, what they prefer by stating it. "Oh, I would like to talk to you formally and correctly," but with a sentence or two you can easily estimate where they are, how
Hmm.
formal, how much they care about grammar, how much they care about sounding perfect, and so forth. So it's a way to filter out the
Hmm.
people that you can have a connection with, and it's a way to adjust your communication style.
Yeah, okay.
I would say just to add on that, because everyone's using AI lately to fix things. I
Did
think
you
some
say
people
yay?
AI, yay,
Yay? Yay. Yeah, it can be
maybe
also called yay.
it
I'm
can.
using yay now.
It's
Yeah,
not bad actually for our market.
it is bad. It's yay.
What I was going to say is that people push it too far. They push it overboard with AI
They
lately
go,
because,
yay.
yeah, because it stops being about grammar and fixing a bit of spelling. If they don't put brakes on it, it completely changes their style and it can make it very, very impersonal.
Yes, exactly. And they might use it even to have some suggestions on what they should talk about and everything else. So yeah, it might not be what they are interested in at all. So it becomes
Absolutely.
superficial completely then.
Yeah. There's a use for everything, and these tools are definitely not good at spontaneous human interactions. So please don't rely on them for things like that. You can rely on them for something a bit more specific where you really know what you want the result to be.
Yeah, checking your grammar, but your words on your words, not what they spit out. So
For instance, yeah.
if you're commenting here with yay help, just use it for grammar check, nothing else.
Even the grammar check, I would be very careful with, to be honest.
Really, it's not
Yes.
that good. I thought it's good in this way. No.
It's all about context.
Ah,
So
okay.
if you're not providing it enough context, it can really change what you're trying to say. You know, it can give you a
Hmm.
string of correct words that are saying something very different from what your original
Ah,
thinking was. So it can be quite tricky in that way as well. And it can
so
make like straight out mistakes as well.
yeah, so you need to really see what the result is and check it constantly and be sure in what is output that this is correct and this is what you actually want to say.
Absolutely. Yes.
Hmm,
Always
okay,
be
thank you.
careful,
I learned
always be
something new.
mindful.
Thank you.
Glad
So
to
not
help.
to rely on AI to have some grammar check. Okay.
No.
No,
Always
no,
keep in mind
no.
that
Yeah, it's
it's
common
not
knowledge
a
to you,
perfect
but it
tool.
isn't for me.
Yes.
So
But, think about your expertise with photography and how much you would rely on it there. And, somebody who uses it casually might see the result as amazing profile picture while you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, what
yeah, I
is
see
this?"
it every day. So yeah, I understand.
Yes. So
Why? But why?
AI is not replacing
Yeah,
us anytime soon.
exactly. And it's making us dumber, though. So yeah.
Maybe if we allow it.
Mm,
If we see it as yai, then maybe
yeah.
there's hope for us if we're critical enough. Now, since we've mentioned this visual aspect, and I know it's quite important, and I've started noticing it more because of you and your expertise, tell us a bit about how profile photos affect networking online and offline.
Well, in this context, if you do meet some people in some event and talk with them, if you send them a link to your profile, or even they try to find you online on LinkedIn or whichever social media or website, it should also reflect the way you look at the moment. Because if they cannot recognize you on your profile picture, they think, okay, this is not the person I've been talking to, so it must be someone else, or they don't even have profile, and you miss on the opportunity there because this person might have had something to talk with you later, or perhaps some business advice, um, proposition, advice, whatever, and they cannot find you because your profile picture doesn't match your look. So
Yes.
it should be updated, and it should not be yayed too far, so they people cannot recognize you there.
Is it okay to yai my messy hair a bit? Is that pushing it too far?
Well, if you appear in the event with your really messy hair and on your profile pictures it looks completely perfect, or some other hairdo there, so this is not advice actually. No.
Be careful with it. Embrace your messiness.
Yeah. However you look, usually you should look like that because even on some kind of a business event, you don't come like you are on the beach or something like that. So you are already prepared some for some um, business conversation, and in this way, it's okay to be shown on a profile picture. Not go too far overboard with it.
For sure. I think you said, people will recognize you from the picture, but it's also a matter of trust, isn't it? And the image that you have of the other person, of how confident they are with who they are. Because if you notice that this is the person, but the picture shows something completely different and tells a different story, then it
Yeah,
doesn't leave a great impression.
this is also a good point, but because people will actually later think, okay, this person just talks about too much rubbish because what they speak in the real life doesn't really reflect how they want to be perceived online, and that they actually just try to be someone else online, and it's not really good. Yeah, there is a trust issue there. They just losing.
For sure. I'm a bit distracted by all the guests in the background who are
Yeah.
unintentionally being part of our podcast.
Okay. Okay. I can move. I can distract you completely. Okay. Now we can just walk around now because people are coming to the beach, and I know you are distracted with people in bikinis and swimming trunks. So yeah, I'll be walking around more in the woody area.
There, I will hear birds and I will be distracted by them. So there is no perfect solution.
Okay.
Now that I mentioned birds, I thought of something
Oh,
actually.
it's a good conversation starter, is it? Birds. Did you hear this bird in the background?
Birds have been my special interest lately. And that's one of those things where if you are well informed, it can actually really build connections. If you notice that somebody has the same special interest that you have, this is a great way to
Yeah.
connect with people. So if you see they're in the
Be it
same
birds
group,
or something else.
birds or something else. Birds was the first thing I thought of. But whatever your hobbies are, whatever your interests are, whatever your values are, if you notice that the person shares them and you have this common ground, that's a great way to start a connection. It's a great way to show that you care as well, that you noticed their interest, and people love talking about things they're passionate about. So it's always easier to start that way.
Okay, but how do you even start with this? Because it reminds me of a Monty Python sketch, like, oh, hey, you like birds? You like how they sound? How do you even start with something like this?
You're killing me.
How do you notice that other person is into the same hobby as you are? Okay, I need to go away from this leaf blow thing. Okay, this is going to be a really interesting walk. Yeah, how do you
Definitely.
start a conversation regarding
Well,
this?
you might notice that you're on the same page when it comes to something, because I don't know, they commented on
How
something.
you see a
They
person and
commented
how do
on
you?
something and they mentioned like a cultural reference, Monty Python, and you see, oh, they also like it. They like that sort of humor. So you might find an opportunity to make a joke that you think they would appreciate, for instance. Or if you see that they are in the group of,
Okay,
I don't know, poetry writers, that could be something
bird
like appropriate
watchers.
for LinkedIn. Let's say that they are a poetry lover and we are educators. As a teacher, I would recognize, oh, you're also in the poetry group. This is something I've recently read. What are you reading at the moment? That's something that just came to mind. So just noticing what people are talking about in the groups that you're in, and using that as a conversation starter if you are genuinely interested. And, if they somehow attracted your attention, then you probably are.
Yeah, okay. But I wanted to know specifically about
Oh,
the
the birds.
bird watcher situation.
Well,
No, let's say with some weirder hobbies that there are not many people, and you might sound weird if you start
interestingly
talking
enough,
about it.
I got into bird watching because of a colleague, and we built our connection differently, but we've actually deepened it because of it. She just mentioned that this was a hobby that she was into, and I went, oh, that sounds interesting. So I downloaded the same app, and now we can't stop talking about it, and it means that we talk more frequently. And because of that,
Okay.
she sent me some resources, talked about some opportunities more, and it brought some interesting things in the business sense for both of us as well. So it was completely random, perhaps, but she felt
Oh,
safe to share it with me, even though the hobby does have a bit of a reputation for attracting interesting people. And
okay. You
look,
said it,
I
not me.
I admit to it. I can be very, very curious and willing to try different things. It's part of my personality, and I was very surprised about how much I liked it.
Mm, okay.
So, if there's anyone in the comments who wants to try bird watching or is interested, please do bother me in my DMs. I will talk about birds any day.
So this is the way to start conversation about birds. Okay.
Do you have an example like that of a special interest, something quite interesting that you realized another person really likes and you bonded over it, and maybe there was a business element to it, not just friendship?
Well, uh, now that you mention it, what
Hmm.
Abigail said, I think, about brooches and other things. We as photographers usually have some kind of a camera with us, and it's more or not visible. So this is a really conversation started for anyone that is interested in photography, videography. People just approach you all the time. Oh, I like this. What you do and how do you do this, and what would you recommend for my photography? So, yeah, this is also an interesting thing. Yeah. So you reminded me of
There
this.
you go. It's actually quite
Mm,
logical when you think about it. Um, a lot of us can use the tools that we use as conversation starters because it's interesting. It's something that affects our work in pretty substantial ways. And it's always changing. So there's always something new to talk about, the upgrades, the new things on the market, the things that are popular in different countries and so forth. So it's actually quite a good
yeah.
small talk topic.
Okay, I think I found a good spot here. Oh, oh.
There you are.
Uh, yeah, not too much noise and not too many distractions.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I would say you would have much more conversation with your uh, walking around with your bad boy camera than talking about bird
It's
watching.
a
So
nice
yeah,
boy.
why
Not bad.
not? Nice. Oh, it's not bad boy cam. It's nice boy camera. Okay. So your main tool for at least online education is your camera. So why not walk with it around?
I've actually had these
around?
conversations with some people interested.
You walked
Not
around
with
with
the
your bad
nice
boy
boy
camera.
camera,
Okay.
with a different camera, and have been approached by other people who are interested in the tools or photography. So you seem to be a bunch that likes to really engage other people when they see interesting equipment.
Mm, yeah. So some kind of equipment, not just fashion
For sure.
accessoires. Yeah. Why not?
It
So
can
yeah,
be, and it quite often is, to be fair. Just like Abby said, like an interesting piece of jewelry, okay. But if you're carrying around a camera or so, it will be the most visible and noticeable thing, probably. So
yeah. Which I must say, it depends on the person. Most people just run away from you when they see camera. So it depends.
it does. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
that I think of the few conversations, because I didn't run away, I was the one approached. So that's a pro tip. Don't run away. Not to the bathroom, not anywhere else. If you want to have a bit more opportunities for
Yeah.
conversations.
And don't go to the bathroom
Oh,
with the camera.
no.
That's
No,
good
no,
advice, I
don't do
would
that.
say.
Please don't do that. Absolutely don't do that.
No, 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 no
Let
way.
someone hold your
Do not do
camera.
that.
That can be a very nice conversation starter while you're going to the bathroom. Get an assistant.
Yeah, but we now talked about the conversation starters, but how do you actually get to the business part?
Well, this can
Hmm.
be tricky and it can last a long time. And I think
You you talk about bird watching for an hour, and how do you get to, okay, do you want to be my
I
client,
think
perhaps?
that this shouldn't be rushed. I think that's a very, very important thing to
Okay.
stress. I've seen a lot of awkward transitions, and this can actually kill all of your initial efforts because you're sending the message, oh, all of this bird watching we talked about, I wasn't really interested. I was just waiting for an opportunity to sell you something. And that's one of the worst things that can happen in building connections. It can make you feel used and as if the person was just pretending to be interested in what you were saying. Salo is saying
Mm.
ha ha ha. I don't know what they're laughing about. Is it the transition, the bird watching? Who knows? But we're glad we amused you. We really like to see these reactions.
We really like
So
amusing
I
people.
don't think there's one rule about when to start, but I think the rule on how to start is to be very mindful, actively listen, and make it natural and follow up with people and build that connection because you can't really build businesses on superficial, short conversations and you can't end them abruptly. I don't know about your experience, Darko.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, if the conversation is going nowhere, it usually just
Hmm.
ends naturally. Oh, oh, there's something interesting. I go there. Oh, yeah, just go. So yeah, both parties just agree that there is no point anymore in this conversation. So yeah, it shouldn't be really abruptly if other person wants to talk to you, but it usually it's
Yeah.
from the both
It's
sides.
a gradual thing. And I think if there's an opportunity for collaboration, it happens quite organically. But it happening organically doesn't mean that it will happen out of nowhere. It means that you've invested time in that relationship and you've actually built something authentic where the person can trust you and they can have an idea of where you can be useful for each other in the business sense as well. It might mean that they will recommend you because,
Mm,
out of all the photographers, you're the person that they actually like. It might mean that they will, see an interesting idea and go, oh, maybe you could help with this. It might be different things. So you do need to let it happen
yeah.
rather than force it. Forcing it, it's not going to give you good results for sure.
Yeah, and talking about forcing, I've been to some events where there are some people that just go around and handle their business cards to everyone. Like, yeah, yeah, here it is. So, how do you feel about that type of interaction?
I think it's not very interesting for sure. It's
Ah,
like random
okay.
connection requests where you see absolutely no reason or logic behind it, so you will probably forget it in a couple of minutes. So unless this business card is something
Yeah.
very interesting, thought provoking, unless there's an element to it where I'll look at it and go, oh, I've never seen something like this. What is this about? And then, maybe I will want to find out. I don't really see that working out.
Perhaps I even uh, want to just put it in the trash at the moment because I don't like the person just doing this. Okay, even if it's something interesting, you lost me as a potential interestee in your services or whatever you're selling with this business
For
card.
sure.
So yeah, at least this is from my point. Some others
I
might
haven't
think
had this
different.
situation, to be honest, where I would have somebody, hand it out to everyone and there's something super interesting. But maybe I would pause then as a curious person, and go back and say, oh, how did you do this? Where did you get this idea? That's the only thing I can think of as a positive there, potentially.
Mm, yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that
could
leads
be.
us to a very important point that maybe we haven't mentioned, and that's that quality beats quantity all the time. And
Hmm. Yeah, so you shouldn't try to as many connections as possible. Just
yeah, and if
focus
you're
on one.
trying, if you're at the start and you want to build a network and you're connecting with a lot of people, which is completely legitimate, I think you should have this thought in your mind that out of all of these connections, only a few will actually be important. But, it's good to test it out before you know who you want to cooperate with, especially if you're not established in your business, you don't know your niche, you're not completely sure where you want to go. Then this would justify trying bigger groups of people
Hmm.
and such. But again, with the thought, a very understandable one and a logical one, I'd say, that we sometimes forget that out of all of those, only some will actually prove to be fruitful.
Yeah, exactly. So not push it. You don't need to think that every contact leads to something. You should just
Yeah,
leave
and
it
use
be
it as
enjoy.
practice as well, because we all need practice for communication skills. It's a never ending story for all of us in all languages, because,
And
yeah,
practicing the language
absolutely.
also.
You've mentioned already like the new generations. So even if you're like really secure in your first language, not even mentioning the second one, there'll be the new kids changing it, and you will have to learn new ways of approaching people and new words to use. So it doesn't end, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I see there is a new crew with lawnmowers and bigger leaf blowers. So I would say I will need to go now because it's going to be really noisy in a
That's
few
fair.
minutes.
I hope that we addressed some of the more common points. I know that I enjoyed the conversation, especially because we managed to talk about food and birds, which is, it's a win for both of us.
Uh, yeah, of course, and like having your gear for video, um, capturing video streams, or uh, even mobile phone on a stick like I have at the moment, also invites conversations because if you've seen a person with sunglasses. He was just checking if I'm checking on them what they do with their machinery. So you interest other people wherever you just
Yeah,
stick
there are
somewhere
many,
out.
many opportunities to start connecting with people. So thank you to Hasibul, Salo, Natasha, Abigail, Samuel. I hope I haven't skipped anyone, for interacting with us and trying to build on our connections and starting conversations. We really appreciate you. This is what it's all about. So take care, and I hope to see you soon.